What is love? Do, 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 do. What is love? Do, do, do. What is love? 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 Hello. Welcome to the Love Show, where we grapple with the question, what is love? I'm Merlin Malilly. Today's Love Show asks, is love light? So, I was going to do this show on angels. I was going to ask, are angels love? I do believe angels to be love, but I guess that's another love show. Because some of the stuff I found on angels seemed to me to just simply not be true. Is truth love? Yet another love show, perhaps. I'm a medium. I channel spirits. I've been a medium since I was a small child. I didn't really understand it then, but I still heard and saw spirits. So I deal with angels a lot, and I have my whole life, actually multiple lifetimes even. So I know some things about angels. So when what I know wasn't jiving with what I was finding in my research, I decided to abandon that project for now. But one thing I did find in my research on angels that I did not know was that in other languages, they do not have two words for angel and star. They are the same word. Are stars love? Is the sun love? More love shows. I also found angel and light to sometimes be the same word. Stars are made of light. And that is the kind of light that I am discussing here. I am not implying that humans who never actually get light from the sun are somehow better than everyone else because they seem white to someone. Technically, from an artist standpoint, things like beluga whales, doves, those things are actually white. I would paint them white with white. But I've never actually met a human that I would paint with white. I saw a dead person once that I might have painted with white. But no living human. I haven't ever needed to use just white for any living human. But they are even finding today genetically that there really is no such thing as white. So I'm talking about light from the sun, from the stars, real light. When the internet first came out, well, when I first got on the internet, my little MO became love and light with these parentheses on either side so you could kind of feel the vibration of the love and light. And I was really spreading love and light. I would, and I still do, every time before I hit enter, I face the direction the person is that I'm sending love and light to. Like if they're back east, I'll face east, and I'll send them love and light from my heart to the person. And then I hit enter. When I was little, I was studied. My mother was a teacher. My father was an electrical engineer. I'm not supposed to remember the studies, but I did. I met other people who aren't supposed to remember the things they remember either, and yet we all remember the same weird things. Maybe we were studied in another dimension or something, but nonetheless, I was weird. I was an indigo child, I guess. Now they say that kids born after the 1980s with ESP are indigo, but I was studied in the 70s, and the studies were published in the 80s. Just because something or someone is studied really does not make it exist or not exist. That is to say, someone's existence does not hinge on whether or not they have been studied. The truth is that which exists whether you believe in it or not. Confucius. But I was what you'd call a light worker. Even when I was a child, my mom always told a story about how I could be anywhere, and I would find, I was little tiny, like in the shopping cart, little tiny child, shopping in the grocery store, and I would find the grumpiest old man, and I would somehow make that grumpy old man smile. My mother never knew really how I did it or why, but nearly every time I went into the store with her, and she's a shopper, I would find the grumpiest old person and make them smile. When I was playing as a child on the playground, I could never let, someone cry. I would zero in on a crying person, and I would console them. I had to. I could feel them. I was weird. I was different than all the other kids around me. No one else did that I knew. Some people say that to be an indigo or a star seed or a light worker is to be a new ager. I really am so sick of this term. I'm not really sick of the term. You could use the term, though it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I'm sick of the negative connotation to New Agers. It doesn't make that much sense because we're all in the New Age, and it's kind of silly to say one group is or one group isn't, because we all are. It's a cosmic thing. People say it like it has some sort of stinky odor. New Agers. Fear is what stinks. And that's why they say that New Agers. It's because they're afraid of the New Age, probably. But fear stinks. And knowing that we have entered the New Age of Aquarius in the great year of the cosmos is not stinky or stupid or cliche. Cliché means overdone in French. So, yesterday in Valley Girl, thinking that we are still in the dark age of Pisces is cliché. That's what's cliché. Thinking in the dark age, that's cliché. Thinking in the dark age is like, so yesterday, like so 5 minutes ago. The Great Year is a giant orbit of our little galaxy. There's a great description. You can find it, just look up the Great Year on YouTube and you can find, I think it's Morgan Freeman does a piece about the Great Year. And it's a giant orbit of our little galaxy through the cosmos. And it takes roughly 2,375 years to complete the Great Year. And the Great Year moves all of the constellations and the planets through the cosmos, moving with our sun around the cosmos. Essentially, it's the sun's orbit. So the sun is moving, all the stuff is moving around it, and it's moving in this big 8 shape. So they all orbit in the 8 together, all the planets and constellations in our galaxy. They think the sun is orbiting a distant star, but they're really not sure what the sun is orbiting. It almost seems to be orbiting 2 things because there are 2 orbits. But we're all moving through this giant figure 8. Like all the planets are skating a figure 8 together. From my own astrophysics observations, yes, I have been studying astrophysics since I was a child. It's a fancy word for stargazing. I only just figured out that what I was doing was astrophysics. So, from my own observations, there is a small part and a larger part of the 8. And where the 2 cross, the intersection is called a Vesica Pisces. While our galaxy has been in the smaller part of the 8 in the precession, it has been in the dark ages. It's been in the age of Pisces, but it's also been in this weird little orbit and the dark ages. The Earth's dark ages are also apparently all of the planets and constellations' dark ages also. So, according to my spirit guides, we have just passed the Vesica Pisces. And we have moved, finally, back into the large orbit of the sun, the bigger one in the 8. And we have been in the dark age for 2,375 years. Pisces was dominant in our night sky in those years. Before that, it was the age of Aries, and before that, Taurus. Through ancient art, you can find evidence of much bull art created during the age of Taurus, a great deal of ram art created during the age of Aries. And the age of Pisces started around the time of Christ, a little before, and there is the fish that is the sign of Jesus. very much like the whole orbit, actually, because it has a little part and a big part, and it's sort of shaped like an 8. That's interesting. It only just occurred to me. So, so the age of Pisces started 2,375 years ago, and we are now in the New Age. We are all New Agers. New Agers. If you are here, you are in the New Age, whether you like it or not. This is not a theory, it's astrophysics. So please stop saying New Agers in such a derogatory way. Us New Agers ought to start referring to those ignorant of what is happening around them as Dark Agers, as if something smells bad. Dark Agers. Ugh. The only thing holding anyone's tiny brain back in the Dark Ages is fear. Fear does actually stink. My dog Jazzy died in my arms. And ever since, I can smell fear. She left me with her gift of being able to smell fear. Dogs do really seem to be able to smell fear, don't they? When I meditated on all of this, my spirit guides asked me, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of anything? I said, after really having to think about it, yes. I am afraid of fear. Fear makes people act without love, without light. And people are afraid of both love and light. Or they were. Maybe now that we're in a new age, that will be different. Besides, they are not really afraid of love. Probably not light either. It actually had not occurred to me that anyone would be afraid of love or light. But in the Dark Age, fear runs rampant. In our anti-love episode last season, we found that people were not really hurt by love. Love was not what stinks, but that the absence of love is what hurts people. When they have loved and there was no love returned, that is the absence of love. If you were hurt by love not being returned, it was not love that hurt you. But the occasion that love is absent, anti-love, is what hurt you. Not love. Having given your love freely to another and becoming hurt when it is not returned, the pain that comes from that is not pain from love, not pain from having love. It's pain from love not being present. Excuse me. One woman in an article that I read as research for this show said that she thought by not loving, she was helping her family. I was confused. She thought because she fell in love and cheated on her husband that love had caused the havoc in her marriage. Now, love didn't cause the havoc in your marriage. Lies about love caused the havoc in your marriage. Had you held out for the love before you had sex and made babies, if you hold out for love to come first, then out of love, you build a family, you see. You don't go marry the guy you think is going to financially support you the best and then have children with him and then complain that you're sacrificing everything later for your family. You just won't have love. Huh? You're not loving your family? Why can't you love your husband or your children as much as the guy that you cheated on them with? Lies about love cause the havoc in your marriage. Lies. If you build your family out of love, then you don't have to step out of your marriage or family to get love. Children learn by example. You think you're some kind of hero because you are teaching your children by example to starve themselves of love? You're not a hero. That's not heroic. It's quite the opposite, actually. I think she is confusing lust with love. Here at the Love Show, we have established in our Is Love Hormonal episode that love is not sex. So here in the now, love is not sex. You should love your family. And if you do not love your husband or wife, you should. Why did you marry them? Maybe it's time to start. It's never too late to love people. You don't have to be in love with everybody to love them. Love is not sex. Love your family. Especially in this new age. So in this new age, we are in Aquarius. We are also through the Vesica Pisces, and that's the intersection of the 8, the intersection of the 2 orbits, through the Vesica Pisces, and for the next 2,375 years, Aquarius will be dominant in our night sky. Coming through this intersection into the larger part of the orbit is known as the Golden Age. The ancient Egyptians were in a golden age. Apparently, here in our golden age, we will peak in technology, understanding, knowledge, love, and light, or enlightenment. The ancient Egyptians definitely were peaked in all of those things. We will lose the ability to lie. So they say out in the spirit realm. The ancient Egyptians were unable to lie to us. They could misperceive, but they could not consciously lie to us. And because light was shed upon everything, they didn't seem to misperceive either, because light is shed on everything in a golden age. This is why their knowledge is so sought after. This is why every culture around the world has sought the knowledge of the ancient Egyptians, because it's knowledge from the golden age. It's truth. They couldn't lie about it. So it's already happening. The truth may hurt a bit at first, but it really is more comforting to know the truth than to be told what it is by someone who doesn't really seem to know. Jesus told his disciples, I am the truth and the light. The New Testament says in John chapter 4, verse 24, God is spirit, love, and light. John 1:5 says, his life is the light that shines through the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. And by darkness, I do not believe the Bible was referring to anyone's color of anyone's skin. Even the darkest African people, their hair turns white when they get enlightened, when they get old and wise. Everyone turns white when they get old and wise. Light. It's light. From within coming out, and from without coming in. We proved in our Is God Love episode that yes, God is love. In our Is Jesus Love episode, we proved that yes, Jesus is also love. So if God is light and Jesus is light, and they are both also love, then isn't light love? I think that love is light. And angels and stars and God and Jesus and earth, I think all of those things are made of love. Train seems to agree. I think I'm going to leave the train in. Doesn't seem to be bothering anything too much. Wrapping it up here. I think love is light. And love is made of light and angels and stars and God and Jesus and earth. So that's what love is. That and much, much more. And we'll discover much, much more and many more love shows. I love you. Thanks for watching. Get out there and make your life, build your life out of love. It's already made of love. Just give it a little more love. Love, folks. Get out there and love.